Hello and welcome to round number 5 of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large in 2022 with the LX4 at Blackwood Rallycross, a combination chosen by Yoni. We have to give Yoni the credit for this one, Miika and Eoin, because it's a bit crazy. 73 laps of BL3 in an LX4. What do we make of this? Start with you, Eoin.
Hi, Pete. Welcome along, viewers. I think credit is being too generous. I think this is completely absurd. But I think for us in the commentary booth, I'm sure you and Miika will agree, this is absolutely brilliant. This is going to be one of the all-time greats.
Miika, what do you say?
Yeah, I heard the driver say it's a very hard combo, of course, and I guess it's going to be like a mayhem, this race. I guess it's going to be fun for us, but not so fun for the drivers.
Yeah, we currently have, 31 cars qualified. How many are we going to have by the end of the first few laps? Who knows? But anyway, thanks to all the drivers for turning up for this, because this will be entertaining, to say the least. Let's have a look at the track for those of you who are not aware of what BL3 looks like in Live for Speed. If not, where have you been? Here it is. It is pretty classic at this point. It's gone through a few guises, but this is the current iteration, the 1.8 kilometer, 1.2 mile version with 10 corners. And we do have a 73 lap race coming up with a 10-second mandatory pit stop, of course. That's what happens in Excel. The drivers have to drive in the pit lane, stop for 10 seconds. They can do work. They can just leave the car sat there. And then they have to drive out the pit lane again. So it adds a little bit of something different for the drivers. Something we don't have during the usual RTFR bi-weekly events. So let's have a look at the calendar. We are just under halfway through the series, and last time out at AS7R, that was a pretty corking race too, but this is going to be something a lot different. No mods today, just the LX4, a very difficult car to drive, 73 laps around the Blackwood Rallycross track. Let's have a look at the car then. The slower LX car in LFS, but that doesn't mean it's any easier to drive. It has a 1.3 litre inline-4 front-engine rear-wheel drive configuration, weighing half a ton with 140 brake horsepower. And I love the LX4. It has a H-pattern shifter if you want to use that. So I quite enjoy driving the LX4 with full manual. Not everyone does, but it's got the option, and it's pretty entertaining. Guys, let's head over to qualifying. Who's currently topping the timesheets?
I think it changed in the last minute or so. It's going Sidus Unite's way. He has gained pole position over World Class Lions Arska. And then a very diverse top 5 with Fragmaster Fatal, Air Tax Spurts, and Young Tommy B.
Yeah, here we are then. Unite on the pole at the moment, and with only a few minutes left of the session, Arska and Fatal, Spurts, and Young Tommy B, as you mentioned, Owen. Yeah, here we're watching Fatal actually, and this is probably the most tricky part of the track. Over the jump, you have no grip. Obviously, you're in the air, all 4 wheels off the ground, and the landing is really important. Miika, I feel like I don't want to single you out here, but this is your territory, rallying, right?
Well, I wouldn't say my territory. I haven't done rally so much myself, but yeah, it's true. It's a Finnish thing and drive a lot of on
I've
light
definitely
gravel
singled
service.
you out there. I apologise, but yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty common in your part of the world. So your teammates, Thamuli and Montemacari, what do you reckon? Are they gonna do well here today?
By their own words, they are having some trouble, so I wouldn't count on them too much. But you never know. It's always a survival race.
As we see Fatal also having some issues, and he's going to loop it at turn 1. So let's watch someone else for a bit. Let's have a look at Rick Cardle, currently P6. And we'll talk about Rick Cardle in a bit because we're going to show the overall standings for this season so far. Rony's added a whole bunch of bollards, poles at the edge, at the end of the first Rallycross section, probably to deter people from going wide onto the grass there. But in the LX4, if I'm not mistaken, I think going on the grass there slows you down somewhat. So anyway, it's a deterrent nonetheless. Here comes Rick Cardle, a lot more composed and a little bit more comfortable than Fatal made it look. Here he comes across start-finish. Only 1 minute 54 in the session left, so he'll get another couple of laps if he wants. And he has a car rejoining just in front of him. And that's how you do turn 1.
Yeah, well demonstrated. Born to race Mantas, I think, has joined the session. I don't see his name on the timing tower at the moment. Oh, he's
21st at the moment.
21st, yeah. But there's certainly an improvement in the pipeline if you can just get these remaining laps in. Yeah, he's just behind. He's just behind Montemacari. So, yeah, everyone has to really get their act together now. Just a minute and 17 seconds to go.
Yeah, quite a tight spread of times. It is only a short lap, but the times are pretty close considering. The top 20 inside of a couple of seconds, under 2 seconds in fact. Here we are watching T-Bug, currently P28, so just teetering on the edge of the drivers we have currently with a lap. Some cars facing the wrong way, that out of shot there. Let's see if T-Bug can improve on this attempt. Bit of a tight line into the second Rallycross section. That does push you out quite wide, and he's had to lift off to compensate. And then these undulating bumps. This is the part of the track that's changed the most over the history of Blackwood Rallycross. It used to be slightly different, but it's been like this for a long time, so people have no issue with it. Let's see, as he comes up the hill, will he be able to improve? He's 3 seconds off. And no improvement. He did have to go pretty wide out of the first section to let some cars through. So potentially that's why. Here's Lurcy. He's been good in RTFR this year, Owen. He's put in a show for us, and he's currently P11.
Yeah, that's most impressive. He'd love to get into the top 10. He needs to find 2 tenths over Teemu Soini in order to achieve that. Yeah, I think he should have the track open up for him. There won't be any lapped cars to worry about. Maybe one coming up on this back straight heading into turn 6. Yeah, you can get that done. Storm H629, 30th position so far, and here's Lorenzo, probably a bit. He's merging offline, so and another driver getting off the track. It's Holmes. They're almost smack bang in the middle of the grid. Euroloco 8th place there. He has. That's Pablo, I believe, trying to get through with the slipstream. Pablo improves to 23rd place.
Yeah, he bumped up the order there. Soini is at the final corner, our final car. So Soini comes across the line. That will be that for the session. So an hour of qualifying has concluded, and that means we have our running order for the start of round number 5 of the 2022 season of Rony Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large. And it is Unite on pole position by almost 0.2 of a second ahead of World Class Lines Asker and Rick Cardle in 3rd place there. Fatal for Fragmasters in P4, Air Attack Spurts in P5, Young Tommy B, Kun, Yeroloco, Brave, and Soini rounds out the top 10. A good final lap that from Soini. P10 is a good result for him in qualifying. Lurcy in P11, Yarik Attila in P12, Thamuli, Yaroslav Donlik, Michael Malek, Tin DC, Edward 77, Holmes, Motti McCarry, and Ali Razor round out the top 20.
For our next set of qualifying results from 21st down, we have Lorenzo, Mantas, Pablo, Rony, Macri, Twin Cam, Flex of Drifter there, I believe that is, T-Bug, Lara, or G Lara, Leandro 911, Storm H629, Pit Lane Racer, and Bumptious Narcy.
Excellent stuff. All right, so we have a bit of a break. We've got 8 minutes to go until the start of this race, and we have a few announcements to make. First of all, we have a pretty busy week this week, Eoin and Miika. Both of you will be joining us, of course, for the event we have coming up at the weekend, which is the 6 Hours of Kyoto, organised by Argentina Turismo. And here's the trailer. The 6 Hours of Kyoto in Live for Speed, finally another endurance race in LFS with the LMP2 Prototype 2 mod and the GTR class. That's happening on Sunday, so please join us for that. Sign-ups, I believe, have closed. Yep, they closed 2 days ago, so the entry list is frozen. But please join us for the broadcast and support the guys out on track. It's going to be a pretty good event. Eoin, Miika, you both are going to be in the booth at some point during the event. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think multi-class racing, it's something I've never experienced. It's always been the single car, or at least in the likes of the TBO Challenge, you had 3 cars that you could choose from, but they're all within the same sort of category. But we have full-on LMP vehicles, and then we have the GTs as well, all trying to compete for their own successes. That should be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Miika, go for it.
Yeah, of course, looking forward to it. Endurance itself is quite a new territory for me as well, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, if the pass is anything to go by, it should be fantastic. Back to tonight's action, we need to take a look at the overall championship standings, the driver championship standings for the RTFR XL season this year. So without any further ado, let's have a look at those all-important results. These are the driver standings. Of course, we don't have a team's championship standing this year. It is just the drivers, and it is Vytautas Lagutskas leading the way, as he is in RTFR, with 106 points ahead of Fatal. Similar story there. Rick Cardle, currently 83 points. Upsas in P4, Donny, Thamuli, Asker, Rony, Yari. Sorry, Eoin, we saw, obviously the Rick Cardle and the Sidus domination last season, but they're having a bit more of a challenge this year.
Yeah, it is absolutely correct. We saw in regular RTFR, they were not able to clinch the Drivers' Championship this go around. And with Laguskas seemingly not on the grid for today, there is an opportunity opened up. But yeah, Unite with the pole position is the most likely to gain that prestige. But this race, it's almost unprecedented. This combination almost seemed impossible to do, but yeah, we have 58 drivers listed in the points. But yeah, I don't know if this combination would be even possible until the recent update came in, where you could pick all kinds of tires for each vehicle. So yeah, it wouldn't have believed to be very easy to do this until recently. Oh, you could have Rallycross here, okay, but yeah, I suppose it seems so absurd we're actually going to do it now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of the road cars in LFS can have Rallycross tyres on, so the LX4 has been used for rally before, but it is a bit unusual, it has to be said. Again, thank Johnny Kazilla for the combo pick for this week. It's going to be fun, and we have 3 minutes left until the grid is set for the race. So yeah, before we went for our little commercial break, we had the qualifying session. So if you're just joining us, let's have a look then at how everything is going to stack up for the start of this race. On pole position, as Eoin just mentioned, it is going to be Unite ahead of Asker for World Class Lines. Ricardo, Fatal, Spurts, Young Tommy B, Kun, Yarloko, Brave, and Soini are our top 10, the first 5 rows. Any names on here who we think are going to be pretty suited to rally? Well, we have Yaroslav Donelik, Michael Malek. Who else have we got who's taking part in the Master Race Car Rallycross Championship? The final round of that series concludes on our channel on Saturday, and sign-ups are still open. So if you want to do some more Rallycross in LFS just before the 6 hour on the Sunday, please go ahead and sign up to the final round of the MRC Rallycross Championship on the Live for Speed forum. That'll be live on our channel on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, my point was that Yaroslav Donelik and Michael, they might be ones to look out for cutting through the pack. And apologies to anyone else I've not mentioned who's involved in that championship, but it doesn't look like anyone else has been involved in the top 20 at least. Yeah, so Eoin, they might be 2 cars to watch out for. Maybe in terms of consistency rather than outright pace, judging by their times, but they're there or thereabouts.
Yeah, you really want to be consistent around this combination. We probably know, based on the pure circuit racing, that
I think we've may have lost Eoin there. Eoin,
yeah, no,
you all right?
My bad.
Yeah,
I was
all
just
good.
saying that consistency would be really difficult, but really essential. On the ordinary circuit racing, you're going to almost certainly have battles where you're trying to get alongside someone and overtake, but here you want to hang on to your patch and do everything you can to hold it. And then the fact that you have drivers, you need to pit, so the tire wear is going to be important here. But yeah, it's just going to be very, very challenging no matter what everyone tries to do.
Yeah, for sure. And also, the thing I don't necessarily like about Rallycross on Blackwood is that there's no line, there's no definitive pit entry line, so it's very easy actually to speed into the pit lane here, because there's a chunk of the Armco has been taken out, and that's where you enter the pit lane, and the timing line is somewhere there. So yeah, you can't take too many risks into the pit lane here, and that's difficult when you've got rally tires on that are gonna be covered in dirt. So you've got to be careful up that hill. Yeah, Miika, you don't tend to take part in the RTFR XL rounds, of course. You join us in the commentary box, but is there any part of you that would be tempted by this combination?
Maybe. I mean, those races that are like this survival battle, that it's likely that many cars are gonna like go DNF. Those are kind of my thing, because then I'm able to get like better positions since my pace isn't always that good. But I like to survive to the races, so kind of would like to try this as well.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is crazy, and I like crazy. I like combos that are slightly weird. Yeah, Rony was not that thrilled by Yoni's choice, but let's see what happens. The die is cast, as they say, and the drivers are getting ready in the background. It is 7:10, which means it is almost time for the drivers to fling their Caterham 7 inspired LX4s around this track, the infamous Blackwood Rallycross circuit. 73 laps, that's a lot of laps. I don't know if we've had an RTFR XL that long in a while. Answers on a postcard if we have, but it's a mighty amount of laps and it's going to take a lot of muscle. That this car is a handful at the best of times, let alone when you're going over jumps for an hour and a half. Are we almost gridded? What's the state of the play? Looks like we've got some cars joining in, so the grid should be ready soon. Probably a good time to shout out that this is the 65th running of RTFR XL, and we'll be hitting a few milestones at some point soon with this series. Of course, the counterpart to RTFR, this one happens every month, RTFR every 2 weeks, so RTFR's kind of round count goes up a little bit quicker than RTFR XL, but it doesn't matter because we are readying up and the grid is coming up now, Owen.
Yeah, we have everyone set up. A few drivers taking up spots at the back of the grid, such as Gabor. He's literally dead last. But it is the run down to turn 1. It's going to be quite a spectacle. Waiting for those lights to get us going. Here they come. 2, 3, and away. The launch for Ricardo is the best of the lot, but he's got the difficult outside line to contend with. Unite should be able to hug that inside and keep his lead. A few drivers loose, I can see. That's Kuhn going very wide, so he's lost it. But Arska takes the lead. Unite was a little bit too deep into the apex, and Ricardo is now in between the battle for the lead now. But I think for the most part, there's going to be a collision there. Spurts a little bit too enthusiastic into turn 4, and he's lost out just a bit. So that's the fear. You've got to keep the car stable throughout the braking zone as best you can, or else you're going to find someone in your way. But a great start for Arska. His launch was really impressive, but Rick was just unlucky. His was better, but he was on the very hard outside line. Yeah, and Unite drops all the way down to P3, a bit wide as well into the first Rallycross section, but a great start on this opening lap for Arska, and there's cars tumbling down the order further back, and we've got a huge gaggle coming into the final corner, and that's Michael Malik going for a big send on the inside, tucked in behind Yarik Attila as they make their way up onto the tarmac for the first time, and across the timing line we go onto lap 2 of 73. This is an unbelievable race. Arska, what a start. Rick takes the lead at turn 1. That's what he wanted, I'm sure, on lap 1, but he's got it sealed now, and Arska will have to just keep up the chase however he can. Yeah, this is going to be a crazy angle, and we're going to see this used all race long, I imagine. The cars being muscled around. The drivers that are going to do the best here are the drivers with finesse, not only on the throttle and brake, but also on the steering inputs. This car is twitchy at the best of times, and even more so when your tyres are covered in dust and dirt. And Rick Cardle, well, he's managed to find a way through, and he's opening up the gap already. But it's not game over, of course. We have 73 laps, we have lapping, we have a pit stop, we've got the unpredictable surface of Blackwood Rallycross. This is anyone's game, and raw pace is not going to win this for you. Fatal currently in P3, a little bit of a gap to Unite behind. Yeah, the breakaway top 3 there, and followed by Unite, Kuhn and Spurts in close proximity, and Fatal, of course, as well. Yeah, so that's nicely done by Spurts, keeping a hold. I was actually gained the position, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So Kuhn down to 6th. We have another chasing pack coming through the first complex, 2 and 3. Yeah, just gotta watch out for that dip. That looks like very treacherous stuff, especially when not only you see it so close to the floor in terms of your avatar, I suppose you've also got the suspension. It's in full view. It's not protected by the bodywork or anything like that. Maybe the mud flaps are the best protection you can get, but yeah, the suspension will be working very, very hard, just like we saw recently at Rockingham. The suspension was very, very exposed in that one as well. Yeah, I mean the drivers had to run a stiff setup, and the sausages were uncompromising with the car they were running. No such problem today. This car has plenty of suspension travel, so we shouldn't be seeing anyone rolling over unless there's some big contacts. We're riding on board with the Mooley, who's doing a nice job controlling the car. Unlike the car ahead, that is Michael Malik having a bit of a
bit of trouble through turn 1. And as I say that, Themuli gets a massive amount of rear tyre spin and almost loses the car. But Rick Cardle up ahead, fastest lap the last time around.
Yeah, we'll see how close it is really possible to get more fastest laps, because yeah, it's really difficult to have a target in mind, but yeah, as I said, in the build-up, consistency, however you can find it, is really, really important. Because if you make a mistake, you can claw it back through a few extra laps if you get a rhythm going. But at the minute, Ricardo has the advantage so far. There will be lapped cars coming up sooner than expected. It's not very long.
Lurcy just had a bit of an issue there. That wasn't a lapped car. But yeah, Tim DC managed to take full advantage of Lurcy just not having the greatest entry into the second Rallycross section there. He was all over the place, and Tim just snuck through. Tim, of course, is a driver I should have mentioned, of course. He is the promoter of the MRC Rallycross Championship, and he's currently leading the championship himself, so he should be very, very at home. Currently P10. He's been used to his own mod, the Shanker T16 mod, which has far more power, far more grip than the LX4. So maybe still a challenge for him.
Bespoke vehicle for Rallycross, that's for sure. It was designed for that in mind. This is quite the opposite, but the driver's doing a fine job so far. And let's see a battle emerging here between this is Lorenzo versus Gabor. Gabor now, having started at the back of the grid, he's got halfway up.
Oh, cars off in the background. Who was that? That was, I think that was Monty McCarry, who was in the wall. Not having the greatest time, but let's stick with this. Gabor is currently trying to make a move on Lorenzo then. Up the inside, and yeah, nicely done. Can he keep it on the exit? Yes, he can as we go over the jump. Good stuff. Another position for Gabor as he works his way through the pack. Not sure where he started, probably somewhere near the back. Normally likes to do that during the longer races. Up 9 places, so he started a little bit further down the order than he normally would like to. But yeah, he's going to make some progress, I'm sure, throughout this race. Another Sidus name going purple is Unite, currently fastest. Here he is.
As a matter of fact, Arska's under pressure just ahead of Unite. Fatal is within 0.3 of a second. That's almost nothing at all. When you factor in the Rallycross aspect, you can get much closer.
Oh, that's a great exit from Fatal. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can get much closer to your opponents with the dirt, making the back end work a lot harder than on usual concrete or asphalt, and where we were driving. So yeah, Fatal hanging back a little bit now before the Sector 1 line, and it actually gives Unite a chance to close in as well. So Arska did a lot better in that sector, and we can see Unite is closing in. Fatal a little bit loose into 6 there. He's got to hang on in there now, make this lap, make it safe to the end of the lap.
Yeah, Unite is reading him in here. Look at that. It's a lot of time that Fatal, I guess, I don't know if Fatal necessarily lost time, but Unite absolutely nailed that section as we come over the hill. And yeah, Fatal goes very wide. This is Gabor side by side with Michael, is it? It was. And he's gone through over the first jump and away. He's up to P12 already for Gabor. He's not hanging around today, is he?
No, he has to make everything count here. If you could go long on this stint, that'll be great, because it won't be for another little while until the back markers are caught, because we've got some drivers already out of the race. We're down to 26 competitors. Yeah, we have a car in the pits now as well. That's actually Pit Lane Racer, so he will be a lap down. Yeah, Loco's the other car that's been lapped as far as I can tell. Yes, that is correct. He's going to be blue flagged a little bit more. Pit lane racer completes his mandatory pit stop, and we'll have a little bit of a space around him now. He can let one more lap car by, or one car that'll lap him through, and he's away.
Yeah, apologies for the loss of timing there. Unite still trying to get his way through here, but Fragmaster's Fatal is having none of it. He's defending. He's been doing a lot of defending this year, and sometimes it's worked out, and others it hasn't. So let's see if he can just keep this car ahead of Unite a little bit longer. Both these guys at the top of their game, has to be said. But Oscar and Rick, they are checking out now. These boys are starting to fight. We've got a car stuck out on track. Storm at pit entry. Burnt his clutch out. Here he is. Oh, that's not great. He's actually parked right in the way there.
He's
retired. Yeah. Well, clutch burning was not one of the things that I thought was going to be an issue today.
I heard before the race that the clutch is something you want to take care of. It's quite wide is the wear out with this car, so I don't know if anyone else is gonna have any trouble with that.
Well, anyway, Miika's done his research. Owen.
Yeah, that's put us to shame. Yeah,
a little bit.
Thinking.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult for all the drivers to keep the clutch temperature in the orange sort of 10% or less threshold, but for the most part, if you have it a little bit in the red, that's generally manageable. We can see, for example, now Unite battling away, but now we can see Jaroslav Donalik versus Kuhn, and there we go, Donalik pushing through there, and Brave is going to emerge. There we are, and the other green LX4.
Friendly honk there from Yarda. Brave slips through as well. I said Yarda might do well here. He's up to P6. That's pretty good so far. There is, however, an enormous gap ahead of him of over 10 seconds. So Yarda has got a hell of a gap to close up to spurts. The top 5 has, as Chris put it in our ear, checked out. But yeah, these two using the same livery, Brave and Kun. As we head out onto the back straight here at BL3. Let's have a look. Let's see how our leader's doing. He's currently 2.78 seconds ahead of Oscar in P2. And then we've got Unite up into P3 ahead of Fatal now. So there was a change. Spurts then in P5. Yarda in P6. Quite a way back. Then it's Brave, Kun, Tim DC, and Yarik Attila rounding out the top 10. Meanwhile, qualified in P10 and he's down to P16. Sorry, Owen.
Yeah, I saw Leandro. He took his mandatory pit stop in about 10 seconds, but for McCree, 36.36 seconds stationary. But his clutch is definitely getting way too hot. It's about 50%.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Dangerous.
You can hear it. Yeah, he's gone. He's completely bailed it. So the clutch is not repaired. Obviously, at a pit stop, it's right in the bowels of the car. Oh, hello. There's a gaggle around Rony here. This is interesting. Rony, obviously, in the bright green-coloured car. This is Monty McCarry and Mantas catching Edwards as we head down to turn 1. Edwards in the red car there. That's Mantas going for a big send on Monty McCarry, and he's through. Rony's having a look too in the background. Is he? Nope, not yet. Thinking about it.
Got better exit from the first corner. Maybe coming inside.
Yeah, having to back
Not
off.
quite fast enough.
Oh, he's running to the back.
Oh. Wonder what happened there.
Yeah. Too much grip for Rony. Not enough for Monty McCarry, and that's what you get.
Oh, he's got a good launch out of turn 6.
Oh,
getting
too much of
airborne
a
there.
launch.
That'll unsettle him, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned before that it's not possible, well, not easy to roll the car. It's definitely easy to roll the car if you send it over the curb going into the second part. That is a huge curb, and it is really easy to flip anything there, especially the LX4. Gabor's making progress. He's attacking another ZFRL car. This is the Muli, and this is one step off the top 10 if he can make it stick. Battle for P11. Yarik Attila just disappearing off to the left of your screen in P10. Yeah, Gabor, another driver who was involved in the Rallycross Championship at the beginning of the series. He's not been there for a few rounds, but we might see him at the finale on Saturday. Rony and Motomikari are changing positions on our timing tower, so more ding-dongs going on there. And there's been a crash at turn 1 between Kun and Brave. Oh, and more contact. Completely unsighted, the cars, as they go around turn 1, so you can't really blame the guys behind. It's completely unsighted in there. But Brave and Kun coming together, and that's caused a bit of an issue. We're down to 22 cars. We knew there was going to be some attrition here as the Muli is coming back at Gabor. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very encouraging to see the drivers continuing to attack. Yari is very wide.
Three wide. Here we go.
Who's the bravest breaker of them all?
It's going to be Gabor. There he goes through the middle. Beautiful.
And Brave is now having a bit of a nightmare, struggling after that earlier incident. And I think Gabor will have him this time. But you can see the rear left of Brave's cars in the sort of darkish, greenish, brown mix. Still enough on that tread to keep going for another bit, but he has to relax on the braking zones in the tarmac in particular, or else he's going to burn that one out and need to make a change earlier than he probably would have wanted.
Yeah, so Gabor gains 2, Thamuli gains 1, and Yari loses 2. That's what happened on the back straight. A lot of action in a very short space of time. Thamuli having some good fun here, and they're both catching Brave after that incident. Brave will be, I'm sure, a bit rattled after being basically, what's the word? I've forgotten the word. Not facing in the right direction. There we are. That wasn't the word I was looking for, but it's good enough. Tim DC and Yada, they're having a fight. Or what's happened there? Something happened. Is one of them going to go in the pit lane? Not yet. 16 laps in, you don't have to pit till... Well, you can pit as late as you want, really, in this race. There's no need to pit straight away, but Soini's decided to come in the pits. Gabor having to go at Brave. That didn't take long. Trying to go around the outside. That is Brave.
Very brave.
Sorry.
Outside.
Nice switchback, and it worked.
Great move.
Yeah, so that should give Gabor... Or there's a car stationary somewhere in turn 4, I believe it was. Maybe not. I suppose Gabor can now concentrate on his own race. He'll be able to catch Tim DC.
Unite's in the pits.
Unite, early pit stop for sure.
Yeah, very early. I'm not sure if... what was that strategic? Oh, goodness me. Brave spun again, and that's the Muli who makes contact. That allows Yari through. And what is happening? So Unite's been overtaken by Yada. While he's still in the pits. He's just exiting now. So it was definitely as Yada completely loses the car. Oh, well held there. That could have been into the tyre wall, and that would have been bad. But Yada almost did a 360. Managed to catch it. That won't have helped his blood pressure any. Here we are, Lorenzo and Holmes trying to close up to Brave. Brave having not the best middle section of the race. There we go. Brave is gone. So yeah, he's completely disconnected. Not spotted, Eoin.
That leaves us with 19 remaining runners, so the attrition rate is spiking a lot here, and we're nowhere near halfway.
Nowhere near. Only, well, not even a third of the way through, in fact. So yeah, lots of drama. But we knew this was going to be difficult. This was going to be a lot of difficulties for all the drivers, and we haven't had much lapping, but we are going to have lapping, and that's going to make it even more challenging. Here we have Holmes, who is a new name to the series, I believe, being chased down by Lorenzo for race green. Very late on the brakes for Lorenzo.
Really
He had to
late.
bail out of it.
I don't think Lorenzo should be panicking, really. Holmes, on his own at the moment, there's no necessary need to start diving at him. The competition in front and behind them are a long way away, so Lorenzo should try again, but make sure he's a bit closer to get the smooth operation done and hopefully
Lorenzo
overtake.
might have been caught off guard a little bit there by the early braking of Holmes as well.
Yes,
Seemed
that's a
that
good
way
point.
because he just dodged the crash. And Gabber is going inside. Tim DC is gonna go wide there, and it's easy place for Gabber.
Yeah, another place for Gabor up to P7, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the preferred racing number. I might have made that up, but he's a very, as far as I know, he's a number 7 fan. Or it could be number 5. I know he likes Vettel. Anyway, back to Unite, who is fighting with Yaroslav Donlik. Unite's done his pit stop, remember? Yarda has not, so this is just going to be holding Unite up now and hurting his chances of closing up on those forward positions.
That's got so much grip there over the last corner. I think he messed up a little bit on the line on the last chicane though, so he doesn't have too good speed on this straight now. So he has to build up another takeover spot.
Yeah, it takes a while to build up. If you make one mistake, you run onto the grass where you don't want to run onto the grass. You lose a lot of time. And yep, Unite has hit a roadblock here. As Yarda goes slightly wide, we see Unite disappear, and that means he's trying to go for a move. Oh, goodness me. Yarda just not able to hold it. He's still on the inside if he wants to go for a fight back, but he breaks out of it. And that's going to give Unite the place back up to P5. Again, Unite able to keep the car quite close to the apex, and that's where Yarda was losing out on some time. And in the background there, you just saw a flash of white and purple. That means Gabor is closing up on these guys. There's now pretty much dropped Tim DC. Here we see Tim. Back to Gabor. And yeah, let's see. How long is it going to take Gabor to catch up to this pack? Probably not that long. I think Yarda's days are somewhat numbered. There we are. There's the number 5. I knew it was one of those two.
Yeah, nice onboard shot here. You can see the work being done. The tires just out of view there, but I'm sure they're working very, very hard at the front. Gotta make sure your landings are spot on to avoid any sudden jolts to the left or right. You can see one example there could have gone wrong, but he has it settled, and he's gaining a little bit more on Donleek this time around.
Yeah, eagle-eyed viewers among you may realise that some drivers who would normally drive on the left have changed to the right, and that's, you know, it's not something that everybody does. Some people have the way they like to drive and they stick to it, but others who know what's going on with vehicle dynamics in LFS know that it's quicker if you put your driver on the side of the car, kind of on the inside of most corners. So the optimal place to put your driver for this race today would be on the right, which I believe Rony has done. So yeah, having that setup change, I suppose, to sit on the other side of the car does give you lap time. Tim DC exits the pit lane. This is Lorenzo and Holmes still battling together. They've been together pretty much all race long, and they're currently fighting for P10. That's the Mooley up ahead as well, and Yarik Attila somewhere in the next two.
McElroy's going to be lapped.
Yeah, sorry, that is a lapping, yeah. Thamuli is about 8 seconds up the road. Slightly more? No, slightly less. Oh, Yada's spun again. That's at the final corner, just as we head up the hill. So another unfortunate spin. Oh, and he's gone into the pits, so potentially he was getting stuff ready for the pit stop. Bouncing off the limiter. Oh, and he's missed the pit box. He's had to pull forward into it. And there we go. And he's probably going to get lapped by Rick Cardle. These guys are going to get past. So that's Lorenzo, Holmes, Rick Cardle. So Yaroslav goes a lap down.
Made a move and he's got past Holmes.
Yeah, hopefully these guys are using the same skin, the exact same skin, which is very, very confusing. But
yeah, the tires alloys are the only difference.
Yeah, well spotted.
And the roof.
Oh yeah, one's got a roof, the other one doesn't. So that's a pretty dead giveaway. I was looking at the skin. But there we are, Lorenzo with the yellow helmet, yellow wheels, and no roof. No difference in aerodynamics, no difference in weight. That's not simulated. It is exactly the same car. There is no advantage to having your roof off. There is, however, an advantage to having your driver on the different side to these guys. But those guys choosing their usual side to drive on, which is fair enough. Holmes better line, but yeah, not a bit of an awkward exit and potentially a gear higher than he wanted to be in, and that's just allowed Lorenzo to disappear once again.
I love the little fact that the spare tire on the back of the car has the same color on the wheel as the cars, as the wheels that are actually on the car.
Yeah, it's a nice little touch that, rather than being a static asset, it actually is. It matches the style of the active wheels. Here is Holmes being caught by Tim DC, and a flash of a Sidus driver there, who is, I believe that is Rick, coming up to lap these guys. There he is. Tim gets out of the way, nice and courteous, letting the leader through. To allow him to progress unabated. Next car up for him is Holmes. Straight through. Does Holmes know he's there?
Holmes doesn't react.
He doesn't react well, and that's caused Rick some time. Holmes needs to... Yeah, now he's realised. There we go, he's out of the way. And Rick can get on with the job in hand of catching Lorenzo. 17 cars left, gents. Unite with the fastest lap, and it looks like Rick Cardle is going to dominate this. He's currently 10 seconds, well, 9 seconds ahead of Asker, but still the pesky pit stop to come, and a lot of laps.
So the Emily is caught up with Yarik, and he's probably going for a move quite soon, I would suppose, as they are going the second off-road section here and on the last corners. I think Yarik gets a little bit more pace out of the last corner. I don't know if there's still place to go yet on the first corner.
Let's see how they do on the brakes. Not very well for Yarik. That is not ideal.
He spins around.
Oh, almost a half
unlucky
spin.
For him.
Yeah, he kept it going, just managed to get it going, but that is an easy place there for Thamuli, up to P7. And, well, not likely then to catch Gabor, as Gabor's already gone past these guys, but, you know, they can fight each other and try and, you know, just stay in touch with maybe some people ahead. Tim DC and Holmes going side by side. They're going to be side by side across the jump. Tim will not have the advantage here. Tries to switch back mid-jump. That was cool. And, oh, goodness me, Holmes has to correct mid-corner. He's still got the inside just. Will Holmes back out? Yes, he does. And Tim can go nicely around the outside. That was textbook.
Yeah, it was a well-constructed move there by Tim and Holmes. It was just unfortunate he was working so hard to keep Lorenzo behind him, earlier in the race, and since he's lost that position, he's been struggling a bit. But yeah, if he can settle down now, he's got a bit of a gap to Donnelly, who had pitted earlier. So if he can maintain the standards, then he should be okay to keep going.
Here is Yaroslav Donnelly. He is being caught slowly by Mantas. Mantas is... how far back is he? Let's have a look at some intervals on our timing tower. And yeah, he's away back. 7 seconds, the deficit to Yarda. And a lap down. But these guys have done their pit stop. Here's Asker trying to get past Yarda. That's another lap down. Well, a lap down for Yarda now to Asker and Rick Cardle. And soon it'll be Fatal. You can just see Fatal there in the background. Here is Fatal then. 3.13 seconds behind Asker. Asker is, well, he's not a name I ever associated with being fast around a rally circuit, but there we are. I'm guessing rallying runs in his blood as well, as he's trying to stick with Rick Cardle. 10 seconds drift here. Spurts P4 going for a move on, that will be Martin McCarry, will it? Yes, it will, for a lapping. And then it will be Tim DC, here we are. Tim DC and Lorenzo together. That is a change in position. Lorenzo down to P10, Tim up a place. And checking out, is Lorenzo lifting between shifts there? Maybe trying to protect his clutch slightly. One of the techniques the drivers use is you can flat shift this car, but it does damage your clutch. This is Yaroslav Donnelly catching up with Holmes out of the final corner. And Fatal in the background wanting to get past both of these guys without any issues. Blue flags will be waving, but as Fatal goes into the pit lane, so the blue flags will be retracted. It's fairly early. I mean, earlier than I would have expected, but he may have seen this happening ahead of him. Yarda versus Holmes, and didn't really want to interfere. It's fair enough. Hopefully Fatal will come out in some clear air. Where's he going to come out? He's going to come out in the realm of the Mooley and Yari. And here is Unite. And Fatal. Wow, so yeah, I was completely wrong. And it is Fatal coming out behind Unite. So Unite has made his position. Well, he's kept his position.
Fatal almost got up though.
Yeah.
They're very close to each other.
These two probably will be glued together. So yeah, that's potentially the fighting that Unite was in after he rejoined after his stop has hurt him slightly. As we ride on board again with Yarda, that is Holmes ahead. Yeah, so you could see there, that was interesting. So the amount of dust that Yaroslav got on his tyres, as we see Yarik Attila leaving his pit box, meant that he pushed quite wide out of the final corner, and that's going to be that was close to contact. Yarda going very deep on the brakes.
Hard skip the beat there.
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah, so the drivers who pitted most recently had taken extra fuel on board, so they probably wanted to start a bit light and then build their way up before the pit stop. Oh, that's going to be really close again.
Yeah, these two. Well, there was no contact, as far as I'm aware. It was still clean. Holmes giving Yarda plenty of room. Let's see what happens in here. Holmes slightly braver, taps the grass. That's going to give Yarda a sniff of hope. Great camera view this as we look down on these corners. A lot of steering lock needed to get this car around here. Holmes looks like he's going to get a better exit. Is he? No, he has to take 2 goes at the apex, and Yarda's going to have a great run here as we go up the hill. Across start finish, Yarda will have slipstream and the choice of where he goes, and he goes to the inside. Oh, Holmes moves over to cover him. Who's going to be braking later? They brake at exactly the same time, and Yarda, well, covers the apex nicely. Maybe pushed slightly wide, but he takes the position back. Great stuff. This is what we want to see. More of that, please.
Yeah, Very impressive work there for Dunleek. Holmes still fighting away as best he can. Trouble is, he will have to plan his move to allow the faster car of Spurts through. If you can pick his moment, then you could certainly put on a little bit of pressure to Dunleek, who would really want to ensure he keeps the place. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Spurts much, but Spurts drives for air attack. He is a semi-regular name, as Holmes there dives out of the way. A semi-regular name to RTFR, and interestingly, that makes it four different teams in the top 5 currently, with Spurts driving for air attack racing.
Yeah, it's a shame. Young Tony B was a strong qualifier, but I'm not sure if he even took to the start or did he even make it very far. So that's a shame. He was. Okay, yeah, he must have had an early DNF, unfortunately. So Martin McCarry pulls out of the way for Unite, who wants to catch Spurts however he can, but that is a
tall order.
9-second gap between them.
Yeah, great stuff from Spurts. Very quick, but doesn't. He doesn't show up every week, so it's kind of difficult to tell when he's going to be quick and when he's not going to be quick. But clearly, a rally fan and an Alex4 fan, because he's doing a great job in 3rd place. Just 6 seconds to Oscar. That's still attainable. That gap could come down. He just needs a bit of luck, maybe, and just needs to keep his pace consistent as we approach the halfway mark. Not quite there yet. Still plenty of laps to come, but we've lost almost half the field in the first half of this race, as Holmes comes into the pits and doesn't stop in his pit box.
He's missed
pull
it twice.
forward. Yeah, it's not obvious where the pit boxes start. You do have to practice that for RTFR XL. Because of how long the nose is on this car, it's sometimes very, very difficult to judge where the end of one pit box is in relation to another. And even with just 17 cars on the track, it is pretty busy out there still. Goodness knows what it would have been like if we had 40 cars at the beginning. I'm almost glad we didn't, because that would have been absolute chaos. But yeah, that is Faithful making his way past Mantas. Just one Born to Race car here at the moment. And Fatal is still just 1.7 seconds behind Unite, so that gap has opened up ever so slightly after Fatal rejoined, but it's not going away that fast. So one slip up from either of them could change the fortune of their race. And Unite still with that fastest lap. That's important. He's 14 seconds back. That's Yarik Attila that he's just got past. It's great. This car looks fantastic. It's not. Its home territory is not a Rallycross course, but it looks good doing it. It's a nice looking car, the LX.
Yeah, it's almost timeless design. As we know from the real life Caterham 7, that's been around 70 years or something, almost unchanged. 70 years, something like that.
Edvard has had a spin, and let's see how he navigates this jump. He's got some damage on that car, actually, but only cosmetic by the looks of it, as Thamuli closes in on behind.
Yeah, so the Muli will ask for blue flags, but then he'll have we'll have Holmes versus Edvard soon enough. They'll be for 14th and 15th. So Edvards goes high into turn 6, but he can catch it again for the next S. Oh, big wobble. Oh dear, something is...
Yeah, something's not going well with that car.
Stress on the back, and Holmes had an easy job there.
Yeah, Holmes gains that place. And with that, I'm going to... Oh, here we go. There's a battle happening. Just as I was about to say, I'm going to step out of the commentary box and wish you gents good evening. And take it to the end, boys. See you next time.
Gonna have it clear.
So long, Pete. Thanks as always. Yeah, so
Like in one pit.
See, this is Yarloko. He's been dead last for almost the entire running, but he has a position gain over Monty McCarry, and he can even sense Edvard's. He knows he's struggling, so Yarloko may not have to give up just yet. Yeah, we actually missed it. Rick has pitted from the lead. That was a 10.33 second stop for fuel. So that's all well and good there. He has a very healthy gap in front and behind, so he can just get on with his second stint here, Miika.
He's pretty good with the pit stop. Got in a good clean air. Has just his own freedom to drive and take all the pace he can take. He should be winning this race unless he runs in some trouble, but doesn't seem like that way. Oh, that's a close call.
Yeah, spurts.
Is that,
Just got
yeah,
all of his
it's
tail wagging done there.
Team DC,
Yeah. Tim is just minding his own business, I suppose. He has the right to compete for the outside line, so he can allow the blue flag call to be respected, but at the same time he still needs to keep up his own speed. We do have track position on the line here with Lorenzo and Jaroslav Donalik. They're getting mighty close there into turn 5, and I think that disrupted Donalik's momentum quite a lot. He had to back off just a tad, but he is really strong in the second sector. With Lorenzo,
Well, it seems like he's very comfortable with his pace. He seems very confident on himself. The same stuff happened earlier when he was trying to overtake, and he got the place quite quickly in the end.
Yeah, certainly true. Yeah, you gain your confidence as the race goes on. He's going to break it quite early and use as much of the inside line as he can, and he might have caught Lorenzo on the hop there. Lorenzo, that is a great move.
That's a very wide line from Lorenzo there.
Yeah, it's extremely... so he is struggling a bit on this lap, unfortunately. He went very high into the hairpin. Donalik reacted to that. And we have more track battles going on. Yarik Attila versus Mantas. Oh, Mantas went for everything there. Turn 4 is probably the most dangerous on the track if you put your positioning wrong. Yarloko. Yeah, Yarloko's having a look there, but he's actually gained on Edvards, who had to pit for repairs. So, Monty McCarry 16th, Edvards 17th and last, but they are next to each other on the track. That's Yarloko getting loose. He's got trouble. He's in neutral. Pulled off to the side of the road. He might have lagged out. Yeah, that's serious trouble for Yarloko. Just as his race was recovering, he has fallen out of the race entirely with a timeout. So yeah, that's gutting. Yarloko persevered for this first half of the race, gaining positions for the first time in ages, and now drops out through a timeout disconnect. So that's really unfortunate. So we now take a look at the order as things stand, with Arska yet to pit, but he owns the lead by 6.3 seconds. Spurts crossing the line now has P2. Rick Hardle in third place is going to lap Tim DC again, but his lead, the opportunity to gain the lead back, should be within his grasp, as the other drivers are still to pit. Sidus Unite, P4 there, all on his own, and nothing to worry about just yet, with Fatal 3 seconds back in 5th. Sidus Gabor putting off the comeback kid of the day here. He started near the back in qualifying, as he probably didn't set a classified time, but he's all the way up to 6th now. In 7th place, representing Zeta Farrell, who is Miika's team, it's the Hibmuli. one of the unsung heroes of today so far. Great job. Then further away back, it's Tim DC for Master Race Car. Yaroslav Donalik, who has gained a lot more confidence since the start of the race. He's now 9th. And Lorenzo, behind Unite through lapping, is on his own in 10th. A big moment here. Spurts from the gross P2 will now lose some positions to Unite and Rick. Refuel pit stop there, that's all good, and Fatal is through as well. But Spurts will be satisfied. He's got one of the biggest gaps on the circuit to himself now. The only other one I can see is between turns 9 and 6. And Gabor could even compete for a position against Spurts now if he can catch Spurts while he's still trying to settle in with his new fuel tank. Yeah, that is the point. Yeah, Gabor has possibly not pitted yet, according to Elmo in the liaison position. So I'll keep an eye out on that. The Hibmuli he's just made it into the pit box. That is as close as you can get. But crucial margins there helping out the Hibmuli, and he will likely emerge just behind his nearest competitor, Yaroslav Donalik or Lorenzo. I think he'll beat Lorenzo, but Donalik is through. See, Lorenzo has his moment coming up into the braking zone.
We're gonna come very close.
Yeah, that's about 1.5 seconds, perhaps, as Fatal takes his chance to lap the Hibmuli. He wants to get in contention for the podium. Is for Fatal, yeah. And Gabor pits. So yeah, Gabor did not make a pit stop, so his chance to gain on Spurts will have to wait another while. Team DC nowhere near Gabor, so absolutely no punishment really for Gabor to take his refuel and get on with his race. Arska's looking to put Rony another lap down. That will be 3 laps down. I believe that Rony goes as wide as he dares, really. Doesn't want to get too close to the pole holding up one of the sponsor boards there. So yeah, it was fine by Rony. He hasn't had a lot to do. The drivers behind him, Holmes and Montmacari, a long way back really. Well, Holmes has about exactly 27 seconds. Yeah, 7 seconds separates Rony and Holmes. Then Mantas is a long way up the road as Yarik Attila wants to compete for the position. Oh, and Gabor has put the clutch in jeopardy here. He has his hazards on here, so he's got to cool that down almost immediately. He's back in the pits. That's awful luck here for Gabor. Something must have gone wrong.
Yeah, that's not the first clutch we have seen burned this race so far.
Oh, it's over. Yeah, he can't rescue his race. So Gabor withdraws. Yeah, exactly. So that's desperate luck for Gabor. And we're down to 15 cars. Yeah, so I'd say by now the drivers know. Oh, so Gabor says in the chat he double shifted up his gears accidentally on lap 20, and then
that's a real killer.
Yeah, it's desperation for sure. He couldn't rescue it. Another chance for Mantas against Yarik Attila, our most competitive on-track battle at the moment. Mantas, we know what he's like in turn 4 in particular. Can he find it again? No, he's going to hang around near the edge of the grass there. He's almost overdone it. He rescued it getting down the banking.
Mantas went a little wide there, lost a little time. He's catching up already, trying to get good speed out of the back straight here. And on the second, third, fourth. And he's
He's
already
going to be
going
side
for
by
the move.
side now. Yari into 7 and 8.
Oh,
Oh,
this
you
is
have to
a
avoid
very
the outside wall.
brave move. But he's held it. He's managed it.
Yeah, amazing stuff there by Mantas. Got side by side into turn 9, and then turn 10 was his to take. Really goes to show. He's got the guts really to go for these kind of moves, and it pays off as he now enters the top 10.
Brilliant drive. No mercy for Yarik out there.
And the position at the back changes. McElroy has found the way past Edvards before turn 4 even entered the fray. Edvards doesn't look like giving up whatsoever here. These drivers are on their 44th lap. They're still willing and able to go for the distance. I certainly keep my fingers crossed for them. But yeah, McElroy has pulled out 0.8 of a second in a matter of a corner and a half, I suppose. Like the turn 3 to turn 4 wasn't quite the full-on curve. Yeah. Oh, Edvards now loses the back end. That's really unlucky. Something is amiss with his car. So Arska, the race leader, will now put him a lap down again. Edvards takes the pits. That might be his race over. If he doesn't want to rescue it and hope for more drivers withdrawing from the race, then he does decide to pit. So hopefully he can figure out what the matter is. Yeah, no actual work being done. So I suppose he just wants to calm it down and try again. But his race is just going to be relying on a bit of luck outside of his control. Since we let Mantas on his way again after his great overtake, he's now behind again. So Yarik Attila pushing to regain what he had lost. And Mantas have to do it all over again. It's going to probably take another lap for him to really catch up. So I'd love to know exactly what happened, but good job there for Yarik to have a hold of P10 again.
These guys are really putting on a battle here. They're very equal on their pace. Pretty much anyone's game.
Yeah,
and
I think
seems like
Mantas is much happier on the dirt sections compared to possibly the asphalt sections. So yeah, you can really see what he loves to do. He's got the throttle controller. He's keeping the revs low until he has to go flat out on the back straight here. Just hang on in there, gets the tank slapper out, and now it could be a repeat of what we saw earlier. But now I think Yarik responds. He knows what to do now. Gets a little bit of a tail wag there, and Mantas may see another opening appear. Uses all of that curve as he can. He's now got a chance. Will he go for the inside line? No, he will not. Yarik.
a little too far away.
Oh, Yarik's gonna...
Oh, and Yarik spins.
Yeah, he's lost that inertia.
He kind of keeps it though.
Into the wall. He went briefly. So Mantas has his redemption there. He has the position back. And Edvards has gone into the pits again, and I think he just wants to put up the feet. Yeah, he's still stationary in the pits, seeing exactly what the matter is there, but he wants to make it to the end, and for that I certainly admire it.
Taking his time there.
Our race leader for the moment, Arska, has gone. It will now be over 50 laps, as he does not need to pit for the moment. So yeah, he wants to win this race on a long first stint compared to the others. It's just under an hour racing So we'll see if he can make it to the last real quarter with his opportunity to win. Still, it's not, it's not a dead cert. He'll be able to gain on Rick. He'll have a lot of work to do once his pit stop is completed to really stand a chance of winning. Mantas, I think he's giving us the real drama of the race, because we've seen a lot of the cases where once an overtake was done, that was it for the moment, as the beneficiary of the overtake was able to break away. But certainly not here. We've got equally matched drivers, different preferences on the track, and then their different weaknesses as well. So it keeps them on equal footing. And Mantas just has to avoid the slides on his less comfortable corners, I suppose. And but see, yeah, this is really where Yarik struggles. Turn 1 is just wrecking with a minute, and he has his teammate Arska ready to catch up and put these two drivers down another lap. So yeah, when will Yarik get the notice for? Well, he's got the notice for the blue flag, so when is he actually going to be able to take it safely without compromising his own race and that of his teammate? It's not going to be here. I think perhaps the start-finish straight is the wisest port of call, as Yarska is still a little bit behind. He's just in camera shot there now. Yarik should notice here and get moving. But no, yeah, Arska's lost some time on his own accord, and now you can see Yarik, if he can finally feel comfortable. Oh, Mantas has perhaps tactically backed off. As you can see, Edvard is coming out of the pits slowly. Arska is now through on Mantas for the blue flag call, and that puts a little bit of pressure onto Yarik. Yeah, so he must have thought, Arska was very close to Yarik, but actually it wasn't the case. He could have kept going. But there is a row of cars there with Edvard's furthest back in the scene.
That's hard to tell when you have like teammates coming up and another one of them has blow flag. So you really don't know who you have to let pass. So it could happen.
Yeah. So Mantas is, he's perhaps slowing down extremely hard to let the race leaders by. And that's Arska pitting. This is the moment of the race now. So with Rick almost next to him on track, he decides now is the appropriate time to pit. So Rick has his lead back. Arska will have a lot of work to do. Unite will overtake him. Fatal will overtake him. And perhaps it'll be neck and neck between him and Spurts out of the pit lane. We'll keep an eye out on Arska's pit. He's done it. No service necessary. A 10.46 second stop. He will almost certainly beat Spurts out of the pits, but Arska will now be behind Fatal. As you can see, lap cars there, Rony and Tim DC. So they're not competing for position at all. Tim and Rony are 6th and 12th respectively, so they have nothing to do with each other. But Fatal and Arska certainly do. That's for the third positions. Rony's lost it on the exit. Thankfully for Arska, he was able to respond and get out of the way. So that's Rony. He's been overtaken by Holmes, and he's really struggling to get out. McElroy gets through, so disaster for Rony. But Lorenzo puts him a lap down. So Lorenzo would love to be near Tim DC there. That would be huge impetus for him, but not at the moment, as they have Mooley and Donnelly for position here. Miika, carry on for this.
All right. And they're really close racing here, and it's almost gonna touch as soon as we get to the paddle.
Yeah, that was that's extremely narrow avoidance
there out of the last corner. And he's passed on the straight already.
Yeah, so the job is already done. The Hipmuli is
through. Hold it, but he's lost it a bit.
Oh!
And there he goes. Still managed to keep ahead. That's
but
being
turn
very
4.
close.
This is the deal breaker or deal maker for a lot of drivers. It's just such a challenging downhill left, a lot of banking and a lot of bumps on the way. It makes it so difficult unless you've really found your preference. Oh, Donnelly getting a little too close there. He drifted upwards into turn 5, and that gives the Muli the breathing space he desires. So yeah, as the race evolves, we now see another battle commence between Yarik, Attila and Mantas. They're now... Yeah, they just cannot stay away from each other, these two. Yeah, but that's all they really have. Lorenzo's too far ahead, and Holmes is too far back. So these two, absolutely equally matched. Almost blow for blow. Oh, great run out of there. Turn 6 it is again for Mantas. He is very, very aggressive when he has the grip. He has the grip secure. And now out of the run down to turn 10 on the start-finish line. He's going to be clearly on the inside line.
They're going neck and neck.
Yeah, this is side-by-side. Late braking. Oh, he's got to really catch that drift before it gets too aggressive, and it's another overtake. Yeah, that was extremely close, but Mantas is through again. And we'll see if Yari has a chance to respond. He's got a good line perhaps into turn 5. That's what he needs at this moment. No, I think that's roughly
back
the
and
same.
forth a couple of times already, so I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of laps later Yari is already ahead again.
Indeed, but we'll now give Yarda, Yaroslav and Lorenzo another spotlight moment here. Out of turn 2 into turn 3. Oh, Lorenzo very close to the tire barrier. Yaroslav had defended well, but he's a little high into the fourth curve there. And still sliding away there before he can get another run on the tarmac. And there we go. So they will fight on for a bit longer. Top 5 relatively stable again, spread out for the most part. Yeah, between the race leader and Unite, it's 15 seconds. Second and third, 7 seconds. But Arska would love to gain that final 1.5 seconds or 1.8. If he can actually do so, he'll be within reach of Fatal for 3rd place. And Spurts in 5th is another 6 7/10 behind, so you could still factor into this race. It's not over by a long shot. That'll have to develop into a battle before we can really comment on it. We've been racing now for 1 hour and 1 minute, and there's still a good bit to go here in Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large Edition, round 5, around Blackwood Rallycross in these remarkable LX4s. But yeah, we have our onboard camera shot of Lorenzo. He's still got that 0.5 second gap to close onto Donnelly. No one can threaten them from behind, that's for sure. There's a good gap. And then in front, for legitimate position, the Muli is reasonably clear ahead. So looking backwards from Donnelly's view, I think he's done a great job in the last sector to pull out a lead of about 1 second. Yeah, exactly. Well, 1 second and 2/100ths. Good going there, and they will continue their battle. So we'll now, I think we've got the Mantas onto the grass on the exit of turn 10. These two, and also Lorenzo and Yaroslav, have been giving their cameras the action it craves. Side by side goes Yari. He's done it again as Miika predicted. Oh no, maybe not.
Yeah, they both lost it there. Both struggling a lot after the first corner. It's all about this 4th corner. Can I handle it well?
Oh, Mantas has lost the back end.
it...
Unite is going to arrive on the scene.
Oh,
Gets away with it, thankfully.
luckily they both can continue without further damage or anything, but yeah, unlucky for Mantas that he lost it there. He's left quite a bit back there now. Here he gets some breathing space as well.
Definitely unlucky. He was pushing as hard as he could, but he got too close to the grass. It just unbalances the car a bit when it has the amount of grass. But it's also trying to deal with the banking on its rear tires, and it just became too much. So Mantas will continue battling. Yeah, it's still a little while to go.
Mantas still wants that place. He's the top 10 place. Of course, they both want it.
Yeah, and now for Fatal and Arska, they're as close as they've been in a long time. This should be about 1 second separating the two now. And if Arska can get another few tenths out of Fatal's lead, this will be another hot battle to salivate over. At the end of the race now, actually, Fatal gains a tiny bit through Sector 1, so we'll keep an eye out on that as well. In terms of their prospects of beating the Sidus guys, it's really out of their hands now. Yeah, and it's going to be a great development if Fatal and Arska gain on Mantas and Yarik. That will happen soon enough. You probably just be able to see the kicked up dust from Mantas's car in front of Fatal, so they will be working hard now. They can't overdo it. Great Scandinavian flick performance there from Fatal. So as we saw for Unite, he was on his own, so he was able to pick the opening that was safe to avoid a clash with the spinning Mantas. But with two drivers in legitimate competition coming up to the lap cars that are almost tied together with string, that is the real intensity now. They've got to figure it out without causing any undue stress. Rickard, though, cruising away, another fastest lap in his collection of 1 minute 2.66 that time around, Miika.
Anyway, exciting pretty soon. Fatal catching up to these guys.
That's correct. Yeah, it's going to be close. Again, you can see Fatal can see the dust being kicked up. Still not close enough to have assistance from the marshals and those blue flags. But sooner rather than later, that is going to happen. Yarik seems a lot more comfortable this go around. Yeah, you can again just about sense where those lapped cars are. Yeah, just entering turn 6. Mantas looking a lot better here, though. Yarik in the middle of turn 9. Sometimes he'd rather be on the tightest line on the inside. Other times he'll be on the outside. But again, I think that suited Mantas a lot more. And the gap is 3/10, and here come those blue flags now. So this is a crucial point in the race for best of the rest. Fatal and Arska, as determined as they are, they've got to think about it for just a moment. Mantas, he's very, very generous on the allowing the faster cars by. But what will Yarik do? That could be his opening to a safe passage to 10th place without his constant rival on his case. So let's see what he'll do. I think he'll carry on into turn 6 anyway and see what will transpire from there. Lorenzo actually pits. I believe he pitted a lot sooner into the race than the average driver. Oh no, it's not. It's actually his first stop. 10.61 seconds on a refuel. Here we go now with Yarik Oh dear.
He's not letting.
That didn't look at all comfortable. So
He still wanted to go, but he had to let. He messed up the last corner there.
yeah, that's a good spot, Miika. He was pushing as hard as he could, but it ended up costing him the time. And Fatal and Erska will now be the headline battle for the remaining 11 laps coming up.
Mantas got up to Attila
now
as well.
7 laps or so for the race leaders. Yeah, of course. I was looking at the other guy's counter. 8 laps to go, I should say. My math's failing me there. Yeah, that's not so good for Erska, I'm afraid. Fatal on the grass, though, it does neutralise that mistake a little bit. Fatal gets the back end out a bit more, and that offers Erska a chance to get side by side. He's going to go for the outside. Oh, he's put off there. Fatal wayward into the second to last S complex there. So that was lucky it happened at that stage. Erska unable to react fully to that opportunity, but these two will now be really, really tight as we head into the final chapter of this extremely fascinating challenge.
Behind them, Mantas is still following Yarik very closely. Still not finding a place to overtake, but following. Trying to push Yarik to make a mistake or something. Meanwhile, Erska is so close to Fatal.
Yeah, that's a necessary tactic if the driver in front of you can't be overtaken on raw pace. Then you have to rely on a bit of psychological warfare and put them off their preferred rhythm and racing line. But Fatal hasn't broken so far, but maybe just getting a little too aggressive on the curbing. It allows Erska another chance. Still 0.3 of a second. Mantas has overtaken Yarik Attila for 10th place, but is there any more time now for Mantas to hang on? There should be one last chance, hopefully, for Yarik Attila, but I think this 3rd and 4th place battle deserves the attention. It's super close between the high quality drivers, Erska and Fatal. Yeah, you can see Erska's attacking. Oh, maybe a little bit too hard though. He taps the inside barrier. Yeah, it's just a case I wanted to put in my front end to see what you'll do, but unfortunately it just didn't work out this time. Go ahead, Miika.
Erska certainly lost some time there, touching the wall. He's now somewhat behind Fatal, but we'll see if he can catch up again and find a place to overtake. Meanwhile, behind them, Yarik also lost some time at Mantas. Mantas is pulling away, so that battle should be settled for now.
Yeah, I think Yarik's clutch temperature is starting to reach that crucial breaking point. It's still not there yet, but if Yarik wants to make sure his work is rewarded, yeah, I think, as you say, Miika, he'll need to slow it down a bit. Yeah, it's starting to struggle really badly now. He's just got to get to the end. Holmes is only going to be crossing start-finish now. So if Yarik can just keep it going for these remaining 5 laps or so, 4 laps, yeah, he'd be able to get his reward for his troubles. Yeah, Holmes there is the only threat really to Yarik's position, unless that clutch gives up the ghost. You know, actually, Lorenzo and Mantas are hardly a million miles apart, but for 9th and 10th. So Yaroslav has really excelled in the final quarter. Lorenzo feeling the heat. He's got a very worn out rear left tire. So Mantas is certainly in. He's got the platform necessary to threaten Lorenzo and almost certainly overtake him. He's got better tires. His clutch temperature is still in the correct window that you can reasonably expect from this combo. Race leader down to 4 laps remaining. And cruising, really. He's got the first sector nearly to himself. We'll see how Mantas responds to the struggling Lorenzo. He's managed to get rid of the threat from Yarik, and now he can go for Lorenzo's position. Is it going to happen here, Miika? Do you wonder?
I think not yet. He's quite far back.
Yeah,
Really
it's
going
down to
for the
the
first
exit,
corner.
I'm sure. It's not the entry, it's more the exit. If Lorenzo can hang it. Yeah,
You might want to go to the turn 4.
Yes, absolutely. Lorenzo leaves the inside line open so he can use the racing line to cut Mantas's path for the moment. Gaining upwards and upwards. Yeah, oh, that's going to be close now.
And this is going so fast behind Lorenzo. I guess it's just a matter of time until he goes past.
Yeah, it seems a foregone conclusion here. Yeah, he's got it sorted out wide. There. Oh,
that was scary looking.
Definitely, yeah, that could have gone badly wrong. But I think that's secured Mantas's place ahead of Lorenzo. Yarik continues to trot around. He's not going to be able to push any harder than he already is. Holmes still a way back though. And our perseverance run for Edwards. He's been in the pits a lot in the second half of the race. He just wants to make it to the finish. He's almost, he's 10 laps down from he's 10 laps down from his nearest opponent, McElroy, and therefore he's probably 13 or 14 laps down overall. Yeah, 14 overall. So penultimate lap coming up for the leaders, and maybe the final lap. Rick is closing in. How about this battle? Go ahead, Miika.
Let's see if Yoda still has his confidence on his pace. And Carl is actually catching up behind the race leader. I wonder if they're gonna let him do it, blue flag right here.
They'll be well aware of Rick's presence. Rony takes his pit stop just in time before the checkered flag waves. No service necessary for him. Donalik, he's going for everything he can.
Doesn't want to give up this fight.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cushion built up now for the Hamuli. Donalik could probably pull over before turn 4 and he'll be okay, as the Hamuli have to do the same. Yeah, good entry though. That's really good for Donalik. Oh no, it's just he's overstepped it. And that's the end of his chances for the moment. And so final lap now for Rick. He's done everything required here. He's got a significant boost to his championship credentials with the Tower Tesla Goosecast not appearing in the proceedings today. And he's going to put the Hamuli down again. So there we go, a significant change in his fortunes. It's Rick. He's been consistent, but certainly not able to grab the victories that he wants. But today will be a different case. He will gain massively in the championship, and Fatal and Erska will be wondering what else could they have done. It's a 1-2 for Team Sidus, provided Unite makes the end, but it's celebratory drifting over the line. Congratulations go out to Rick Cardle, winning in a time of 1 hour and 17 minutes and 18 seconds. Brilliant drive.
Very good job from Rick Cardle there.
So the lapped cars cross the line, but Sidus Unite completes the 1-2 for Team Sidus there. They were unlucky that Gabor didn't make it to the finish. There you go. Grand success there. Fatal hangs on to the position. He was absolutely imperious hanging on in there, so well done. Erska will be content with that result. Spurts in the top 5 there. He wasn't able to quite make the gains he would have wanted, despite a strong running earlier in the race. we will have 6th place classified for Team DC. Then Dihimuli 7th, Donalik 8th, Mantas 9th, and Lorenzo completing the top 10. Next across the line, it should be Yarik Attila, who managed to rescue his clutch. He couldn't do any more than that, really. And then the remaining positions are now punched in. Holmes is 12th, Rony 13th, McElroy 14th, and then 14 laps down, but able to say he made it to the finish. It's Edvard 77, so well done to him for trying his best to get to the finish, and he did it.
Good job for all of these 15 finishing out of what we had 32, 33 cars starting. So
yeah, it was definitely in the mid to early 30s, I suppose, there in terms of the entries. So we now have the comprehensive results on screen. Fastest lap going to Rick Hardle, the 1 minute 2.6, but wasn't necessarily that dominant. We can see United had a 1 minute 2.69. Ours got a 1 minute 2.94. So yeah, certainly not a blindingly quick lap. It was that consistency that pulled out 25 seconds of a victory deficit to Unite. So well done there. So 5 drivers made it to the end on the lead lap. Tim DC, in fairness to him, he only got lapped once. That's extremely dominant over his competition in the top 11 there. And you can see the drivers 11th to 15th there, able to make the finish. But the retirements for today's race were Gabor, Yerloco, Pablo, Timu Soini, and Brave. They were 16th to 20th furthest able to the finish, but not able to make it all the way. Yeah, so then maybe a few cars did qualify and didn't take the start there. So 30 drivers are on our list there. But yeah, these are the very, very early departures from the race. Leandro 911, Kuhn, Pit Lane Racer, McCree, Michael Malik, Storm, H629, Lurcy, Twin Cam, T-Bug, and Lara. So that will bring an end to our race coverage around Blackwood Rallycross in the LX4s. Miika, do you have any closing thoughts?
well, not really. Had quite a bit of on-track battles there. Of course, fun to see those and follow how it turns out. Yeah, such a good racing for good 1.5 hours almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we weren't able to keep the pack racing going. It was mainly as the middle pack drivers started to withdraw from the race or get disconnected. It just meant we had the 1v1 battles in the field there, with the highlights obviously going for Mantas and Yarik Attila there. Donalik and Lorenzo were great, and then of course Fatal and Arska almost got to go side by side to the end. But yeah, that was a fascinating race. Another enormous challenge that the drivers took on. Some obviously were not able to make it. That would have been interesting to see more drivers have a go if they were available, but that wasn't to be the case. But anyway, just before we call it time, let's play the trailer one more time for the upcoming Kyoto 6 Hours this Sunday. Broadcast on Sim Broadcasts, of course. So there you have it. Do you have the endurance? We will find out this Sunday on Sid Broadcasts across Twitch and YouTube. But it is now time for us to call it an evening here on Rony's Tuesday Fun Race this May 17th. So from myself, Owen Harmon, my co-commentator, Miika Särkkinen, and the race liaison, Chris McElroy, aka Elmo, we will wish you a good day, and we will hope to see you very soon yet again here on SimBroadcasts.tv. Thanks very much, everybody. So long.